What if I told you the Bible describes prisons not for humans, but for the celestial beings who broke heaven's laws? Ancient texts speak of them bound in chains of darkness, sealed in abysses, hidden beneath rivers, and locked in desert realms. And today, the world is changing. The Euphrates River is drying up. The Middle East is in constant flux. Strange sinkholes are tearing open the earth near the Dead Sea. Is prophecy unfolding before our very eyes? Or are we simply misreading ancient symbolism? Today, we investigate the first of the 5 prisons of the fallen, Jude and the mystery of Azazel. To understand a prison, we must first understand its prisoner. The identity of Azazel is one of the most enduring mysteries in biblical scholarship. Depending on your lens, Azazel is a ritual, a place, or a fallen god. In the Hebrew Bible, Azazel appears in the high-stakes ritual of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. In Leviticus, 2 goats are chosen. One is for the Lord, and the other is for Azazel. Many scholars argue the word just means the goat that goes away, which is where we get the English word scapegoat. But modern research suggests something deeper. The goat wasn't just escaping. It was carrying the sins of the nation into the wilderness, delivering them back to their source. But there is a darker, more vivid interpretation. The Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text found with the Dead Sea Scrolls, reveals Azazel as a leader of the Watchers, angels who rebelled. Enoch says Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, and shields. He didn't just bring war, he brought seduction, teaching the art of makeup and the use of precious stones. For this unholy enlightenment, his punishment was absolute. The archangel Raphael was commanded to bind Azazel hand and foot and cast him into the darkness of a desert prison called Jude. Experts today see this as a mirror ritual. Dr. Andrei Orloff, a specialist in Christian origins, explains that Azazel functions as a counter-priest. He mirrors the sacrificial system, creating a distorted, adversarial version of God's holy rites. So, is this prison a physical place? Many scholars believe Azazel was a personification of the chaotic wilderness itself. Cultures like the Hittites and Mesopotamians also had rituals where evils were banished to the desert, the home of demons. Even the Talmud suggests that Azazel refers to the rough mountain, the rugged cliff where the goat was pushed, a place so strong and desolate that evil was thought to dwell there. If Azazel is bound in the rough places of the earth, what happens when those places begin to change? As the waters of the Middle East recede and the earth itself cracks open in the desert, are the ancient seals holding? In our next episode, we move from the desert to the depths of the river. We investigate the 4 angels bound beneath the Euphrates and why their release is tied to the end of an age. Thanks for watching. Stay curious and stay vigilant. Have you ever heard of a river that holds the secrets to our past, present, and maybe even our future? Today, we're journeying to the heart of ancient civilization, to the banks of a river that has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the mighty Euphrates. For thousands of years, the Euphrates has been a lifeline, nurturing the cradle of civilization in Mesopotamia. From the ancient Sumerians to the Babylonians, this river was more than just water. It was the source of life, commerce, and culture. Its waters irrigated the first farms, flowed through legendary cities like Babylon, and are mentioned in the earliest written stories of humanity. Imagine standing on its banks, feeling the same breeze that kings and prophets felt millennia ago. But the Euphrates holds a deeper significance for many, a significance woven into the fabric of ancient prophecies. In the Bible, specifically in the book of Revelation, the Euphrates is mentioned in a striking and mysterious passage. Revelation 16:12 speaks of the 6th angel pouring out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water being dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east. For centuries, this verse has captivated theologians and scholars, sparking countless interpretations and debates. What could it mean? Who are these kings from the east? And is the drying of the river a literal event or a symbolic one? Fast forward to today, and something incredible is happening. The Euphrates River is actually drying up. Satellite images and reports from the ground confirm a dramatic decrease in its water levels. Decades of dam construction by countries along its path, combined with prolonged droughts and changing climate patterns, are choking this once mighty river. The reality is stark. Lush farmlands are turning to dust. and communities that have relied on this river for generations are facing a crisis. When we see the physical river shrieking before our eyes, it's impossible not to think back to those ancient prophecies. Many people today are drawing direct parallels between the current situation and the words written in Revelation. They see the drying river as a potential sign, a fulfillment of a prophecy thousands of years old. This convergence of a modern environmental crisis with ancient scripture is undeniably powerful, prompting questions about destiny, faith, and what the future holds for humanity. Of course, there are many ways to interpret these events. Skeptics argue that this is simply the consequence of modern water management and climate change, a man-made problem without any divine connection. They point out that rivers have changed course and dried up throughout history. Others view it symbolically, suggesting the drying up might represent a shift in political power or the decline of cultural influence in the region, rather than a literal lack of water. The beauty of these ancient texts lies in their layers of meaning, allowing for both literal and metaphorical readings. So, what are we to make of all this? Is the shrinking Euphrates a dire environmental warning, a sign of biblical prophecy unfolding, or perhaps both? We're living in a moment where science, history, and faith are intersecting in a way that is both fascinating and unsettling. The story of the Euphrates is a reminder that the events of our time can echo the words of the past, forcing us to look at our world with new eyes. It's a complex puzzle, and the pieces are scattered across history, scripture, and the very landscape of our planet. What do you think? Are we witnessing a prophecy come to life, or is this a purely scientific phenomenon? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on this incredible story. Thanks for watching, and if you found this journey through time and prophecy as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of our world. See you next time. Beyond the rivers and the deserts lies a realm that defies the laws of physics. The Bible calls it abyssos, the bottomless pit, a place of absolute confinement for things that were never meant to walk the sunlit world. Today on Curiosity Canyon, we investigate the third and most terrifying prison, the abyss and the king of the locusts. In Revelation chapter 9, the Apostle John sees a vision of a star falling from heaven. But this is no celestial body. It is a being given a specific tool. And I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. In Greek, the word is abyssos, meaning unfathomable or boundless. According to Dr. Henry Morris, founder of the Institute for Creation Research, the abyss may not be a metaphor. He proposed in his research that the abyss could be a physical location within the Earth's core, a hollow prison where the gravitational and thermal conditions create a literal bottomless environment. This prison has a warden, a king who leads the nightmare forces contained within. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue he is named Apollyon. This name means the destroyer. While some argue this is Satan himself, many scholars, including Dr. Charles Ryrie, suggest Abaddon is a high-ranking demonic prince specifically assigned to govern this subterranean prison. He is the prince of the void, holding back a swarm that has been starved of light for millennia. When the pit is opened, it doesn't just release spirits, it releases an army. The Bible describes locusts, but these are unlike any known species. They have the faces of men, hair like women, and teeth like lions. Dr. Michael Heiser, a scholar of the Divine Council and ancient Semitic languages, notes that these descriptions mirror ancient Near Eastern chaos monsters. They represent the anti-creation, things that God locked away because they were too destructive for the natural world. Is there physical evidence that the abyss is more than a spiritual concept? In the Badagica crater in Siberia, the Earth is literally collapsing, creating a slump that locals call the gate to hell. Scientists are baffled by the strange booming sounds and the ancient gases being released from deep within the permafrost. Is this merely a geological event? Or are we seeing the literal smoke of the pit beginning to rise as the structural integrity of our world weakens? The abyss is a prison of no escape, held shut by a divine key. But the prophecy says the key will be used. And when it is, the king of destruction will lead a swarm that no human army can stop. But there is one more prison. a place even lower than the abyss, a place where the original rebels, the Watchers of Genesis, are held in everlasting chains. Join us for part 4, as we descend into the Greek-influenced depths of the Bible to find Tartarus. This is Curiosity Canyon. Don't look down. Most people know about hell. Many have heard of the abyss. But there is a third location mentioned in the Greek manuscripts of the Bible, a place so isolated it was designed for only one group of prisoners, the high command of the fallen. Today on Curiosity Canyon, we investigate the fourth demonic prison, the gloom of Tartarus. In the entire Bible, the word Tartarus appears only once. It occurs in the second letter of Peter. But why would a Jewish fisherman use a word from the dark myths of the Greeks? For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to Tartarus, translated as hell in KJV, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment. In Greek mythology, Tartarus was the prison of the Titans, the giants who rebelled against the gods. By using this specific word, Peter was sending a message to the ancient world. The Titans of your myths are real, and they are locked away in a cell beneath the foundations of the world. Who are these angels that sinned? Scholars such as Dr. Michael Heiser, author of The Unseen Realm, argue that these are the 200 watchers who descended upon Mount Hermon in Genesis 6. Unlike the demons we hear about today, who seem to roam the earth, these specific entities were deemed too dangerous to be left free. They were the ones who corrupted the human gene pool and taught the forbidden arts of war and sorcery. The text says they are held in chains of darkness. But what does that mean? Theologian Albert Barnes, in his famous Notes on the Bible, suggests that these chains aren't made of metal. They are chains of gloom, a psychological and spiritual bondage where these beings are kept in a state of perpetual despair, unable to use their vast celestial power to escape. They are in a state of suspended animation, waiting for the final judgment. They are the old gods of the ancient world, currently sitting in a cosmic waiting room. Today, we see a global phenomenon of subsidence, places where the earth is losing its structural integrity. In the Judean desert, near the suspected site of the Watcher's judgment, over 6,000 sinkholes have appeared. Is it possible that as the world ages, the structural seals of these prisons are weakening? Ancient Near Eastern research suggests that Tartarus was located at the roots of the mountains. As our mountains crumble and our tectonic plates shift, are we disturbing the very cages of the Titans? Tartarus remains a place of silence and gloom, a warning to all of creation that there are boundaries that even the most powerful angels cannot cross without consequence. But there is one final location, a place not of chains, but of fire, a place that was never intended for humans, but will eventually become the final destination for every prisoner we have discussed. Join us for the series finale, as we investigate the ultimate high-security facility, the Lake of Fire. This is Curiosity Canyon. Don't lose your way in the dark. Have you ever wondered what the Bible really says about the Lake of Fire? It's a concept that pops up in conversations about the end times, but it's often misunderstood. Let's clear up some of the confusion and take a closer look at what Scripture actually describes. Is it a literal, eternal barbecue pit, or something else entirely? First off, where do we even find this phrase? The Lake of Fire is mentioned almost exclusively in the book of Revelation, the very last book of the Bible. It shows up 5 times, mostly towards the end of the book. It's described as a place of final judgment, a destination for those who are not found written in the book of life. So, what exactly is it? Revelation chapter 20 describes it as the place where the devil, the beast, and the false prophet are thrown. It also says that death and Hades are thrown into the lake of fire. This is a crucial detail. Think about it. Death and Hades are not physical beings. They are concepts, abstract principles. You can't literally burn a concept. This suggests that the lake of fire might be symbolic language, representing something more profound than a physical location with flames. This is what's called the second death. The first death is the physical death we all experience. The second death, as described in Revelation, is a spiritual separation from God, a final and complete end. So, when death itself is thrown into the lake of fire, it symbolizes the end of death forever. In the new creation, there will be no more dying, no more suffering, no more Hades. That's actually incredible news. Now, let's talk about the fire. Throughout the Bible, fire is often used as a symbol of purification and judgment. Think of the refiner's fire that purifies gold, burning away the impurities to leave only what is pure and valuable. In the same way, God's judgment is often depicted as a consuming fire that deals with sin and evil, ultimately to cleanse and make all things new. So, when Revelation talks about people being cast into the lake of fire, it's describing the ultimate consequence of rejecting God's offer of life. It's a state of eternal separation from the source of all goodness, light, and love. The imagery of fire and torment is used to convey the absolute seriousness and painful reality of that separation. It's not necessarily about physical flames for eternity, but about the profound anguish of being cut off from God. This isn't meant to be a scare tactic. The Bible's message is overwhelmingly one of hope and redemption. The whole point of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection is to offer a way out, a path to be reconciled with God. The Book of Life contains the names of those who have accepted this gift. So, the lake of fire isn't an eternal torture chamber created by a vengeful God. It's better understood as the final, logical outcome for all that is opposed to God: sin, evil, death itself. It represents the ultimate cleaning house of the universe, making way for the new heavens and the new earth where righteousness dwells, and where God will wipe away every tear. It's the final end of all that is bad, so that only the good remains. It's a heavy topic, for sure, but understanding the symbolism helps us see the bigger picture of God's plan for restoration, not just retribution. It highlights the importance of the choice we all have to make. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, be sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into Scripture. See you next time.